Hi, I have been immersed in the path and realm of personal development for over 20 years now. And I want to share with you today three ingredients that I think I've found to be particularly effective in bringing success, bringing results into our life. So, key path number one, clarity. Now, I know people love the sound of this word clarity. What does it mean to you if you just think about it for a moment? I guess you probably like to have more clarity. Um, Typically, my experience of sort of observing and interacting with people and myself as well, my own experience is that we tend to have a mind that loves complexity. A mind that, if you imagine, it's a bit like a tree, and it has multiple branches. And it's like when you're sitting quietly, one thought will lead to another thought, which will lead to another branch, another branch, another branch. And before we know it, we've got a sort of sense of fog in the head. We can get overwhelmed in terms of our thinking. Often, obviously, the thinking gets into problem solving, but doesn't really solve the problems. So we get a lack of clarity, we get a lack of focus sometimes just because there's so much going on in there. And that's why often people don't like to meditate as well. So one of the things that can benefit you from, potentially speaking with someone else like a coach is it can give you the space to actually think things through, understand what you really want, get that in alignment with who you really are. And then you get some clarity that just, you can never get rid of that clarity. And so you start to simplify things. And I know my experience is very much that when we can actually just try and get more from less, when we actually have clarity over what we really want and we can put energy and resource into those things, and not procrastinating and not making a lot of time and effort over things that actually aren't really contributing to what we're clearly looking for in the big picture, in our big strategy, then we can actually get clarity and we can get headspace and we can say goodbye to some of the fogginess and overwhelm in our heads. So that's point number one, clarity. Ingredient number two is efficiency. Once we've got a sense of what we're really clear we want to achieve and what we really want in our lives, that really gets driven by our gut and our whole being, every cell of our body can really resonate when we're on our purpose and when we're really moving towards something that we know will fulfill us on an intuitive level, on a heart level, as well as on a rational level. Efficiency becomes the next piece of the puzzle, really, that we fundamentally need, because again, when we observe how we typically behave, we'd all like to get more done. We'd always all like to make more money or have less to do. And yet there are so many habits of behavior that we have which are not efficient for ourselves. We spend time doing things that we know are not really that important. We procrastinate, we get perfectionism, we have all of these little barriers. And I know from my own experience, a lot of the time that's actually, there are inner little sabotaging thoughts and an inner saboteur that can get in the way, and actually to push through and become genuinely efficient and productive, it's not that easy. Actually, there's many layers internally within our heads, and in the way that we actually habitually behave, that get in the way of just making things happen in a flowing state where thoughts are flowing, results are coming in. And I'm not saying you're not getting results in your life, but when it comes to efficiency, every high achiever will know that efficiency can always be improved. The Japanese always try and improve one little thing every day, and that has a compound effect. So when you start thinking about, what are my blind spots, it's another thing that can help when you've got someone to bounce ideas off. What is it I'm really trying to achieve? And then what are the things that stop me in an average week from actually getting those things that I thought I was going to get done? Putting in systems. I know a lot of different techniques and tools from a time management point of view, from a productivity point of view, but the most important thing is actually that each person has the ability to devise something that they know deep down will be the next step to create more efficiency and more impact in their lives. And genuinely, I'm a big believer now. I see some real successful entrepreneurs and business people who they're successful and they're getting great results, but my goodness, they're running on adrenaline and fear, and they're pushing so hard that, I had, health issues over overly pushing myself in the past, and I see it left, right, and center. It's not sustainable, and also it's not so much fun, which leads me on to point number 3, which is probably the most fundamental, actually. Clarity. Yes, we absolutely need clarity. Efficiency. My goodness, getting a system in place can really provide some structure so that we can really get results guaranteed, actually, on a daily basis. And number 3 is passion. And when I say passion, I actually need to qualify that, because I'm not talking about the kind of passion that is what we might call frenetic and feverish. When you've got that busy mind that's just kind of scared, I was about to swear there, really scared, let's say, that things aren't going to work out, that the results aren't going to come in. There's a kind of drive that people have, which actually underneath that, it's not really much fun. It's always about thinking about why this might not work out. And it's fair enough. I know that we get motivated by various different things, and sometimes pressure and deadlines can be useful. But I'm talking about passion in a balanced way as well. Yes, okay, fine. We can drive ourselves with a bit of pressure. But what I'm also talking about is the kind of passion, yes, of course, from enjoying ourselves. Clarity gives us the ability to know what we really need to do. And by God, we get fulfillment when we do the things that are difficult and that are high impact, that are challenging. We're all interacting with each other on this planet. And I know for myself, communication with other people has been, one of the things I've had to really spend a lot of time thinking about and learning about. What's the most effective way? I didn't suddenly rock up and make this video without learning about how to maybe craft a message. Passion is something which can be actually very peaceful when we are honoring our deep core self, when we're making time to get that balance and take time for breaks, or taking time to actually work on fears or beliefs, limiting beliefs that we know are getting in the way, and we're getting really real with ourselves. Then we can be passionate, because it's basically about loving ourselves into success and into making things that we really want happen. So the passion thing is really the most important, because on another level, if you've ever watched any of my videos, I quite like to get a little bit let's call it esoteric at times. And what I would say as well is, when we look at quantum physics, which is very mainstream, very grounded now in terms of looking at everything as being vibration, our state of being is our vibration. And so when we're in a happy state, it's not rocket science to say when we're in a happy state, we create situations and results that come from that happy state. So typically, if we're in a state of gratitude, things come into our lives that make us even more grateful. When we feel fulfillment, we get more stuff. When we feel fun, when we feel we're enjoying ourselves, I make it an absolute rule now. Every Friday, I have to turn up for myself and really make that work day particularly fun. And I get creative about how am I going to do that, because I know state of being, and I've practiced this stuff, so I'm getting results as a result of trying these things out. I'm not trying to convince anyone here, but I always talk about be your own experiment, try some things out if they resonate. When you are in a passionate state, when you focus on that state of being for yourself, the rest follows. The rest follows. Taking a break, going into the park, being in a good state guarantees me pretty much to go back to my inbox and have some lovely things that are actually pointing towards my success without having done any work. This is what I mean about trying to leverage these principles so that we actually end up doing less and getting more results. It's a very, very powerful way of living, and a way of harnessing your own success and using your energy in the most efficient way. So what are the 3 points today? Clarity, efficiency, and passion. If you'd like to hear more, obviously I'm available to talk to you about this in more detail. If you like videos like this, obviously feel free to look around my website, but also subscribe to my YouTube channel, like videos like this as well. And I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Take care.